Hi there everyone, for Viral Now, I'm Jer here today to talk about 10 of the most annoying types of Fortnite players. The Battle Royale genre has really blown up in terms of popularity in the previous year, where you as a player start off with nothing, alongside another 90-some odd people. All of them, as well as you, must look for weapons and tools to try to build up your arsenal in order to be the last to survive. The first weekend in February, Fortnite at one point had a concurrent 3.4 million players. Once again, that is 3.4 million people all playing at once, beating its main competitor, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. With how popular Fortnite has become, it's natural among millions of players that some will use dirty or just plain rude tactics. Let's talk about them. And just to say, I really do love this game, and even if I'm not doing the best, I almost always am having fun, but I can certainly get annoyed at times. Right before getting into the list, here's a quick message. To up your style game, check out HypeLitStore.com to find some of the latest trendy designs, with the Space Galaxy hoodie, Oreo joggers, or vintage Rick t-shirt among many others. Once again at HypeLitStore.com. Runs away from squad. In Fortnite, for those who like to play with friends, or perhaps make some new friends, there are squads. Also, for the newer player who isn't too great yet, working with other players instead of fending on your own can be a good learning tool. Ideally, the squad will keep good communication with each other and sharing loot to make sure everyone is equipped and staying close to each other, locking down an area. Now, don't get me wrong, running away for a moment from your teammates is understandable to try to find some more loot. However, this point pertains to those who deploy on the opposite side of the map or run to the opposite side of the map from their team, and they don't make any effort to regroup. In my opinion, if you're going to do that, just play solo. In squads, staying as a unit in order to succeed is what it's all about. You put yourself at a disadvantage, as well as your teammates, when separated for the entirety of a match. Please do not do this. Doesn't share shield. Tying in with the previous point, in duos or squads, you're supposed to support each other, whether it be by watching their back while looting, taking on enemies together, or sharing your loot. Honestly, the shield is the one that gets me the most. It's better to all have some shield instead of just one member being totally stocked up. Now, I guess let's say you're not the type of squad that's all talking to each other. Okay, maybe because of that you're not as generous without the communication as if you were to be with good friends. But there's also people that if they have a full shield and have extras, they still won't share. This does apply to other types of loot as well, meaning that if your teammate is rocking uncommon weapons and you've got epics, legendaries, or mythics, please give your teammates just something good. I mean, heck, even if you've just got a full inventory of rares and your teammate is still on uncommon, just give them one of yours. Well, as I said, this is duos or squads. It is not solo. If you're gonna play like that, please go to solo. Teammates loots when you're down. My final point in regards to duos and solos is that while you're down, or a teammate is down, decide to loot even when they're nearby. In the situation, you've run away for a moment to look for better loot, that's understandable, but let's say you're close to each other and a teammate stays looting while you're down. Please go help your teammate up, and/or enter the gunfight and take out the enemy player. I suppose this even applies to teammates who are too scared to join the gunfight and/or run out to revive. There's some very dangerous situations where if you know you're outnumbered or at a big disadvantage in terms of cover, I understand not running out immediately, but I've just had teammates that who have a good chance to be able to come help me and have a decent shot against the enemy, yet are too scared to run away from their cover. It's no good, it's not helpful. House camper. Accurately analyzing your situation of when it's safe to move is logical, as I just said in my previous point. What isn't though is staying in one house until you're forced to move, or in the situation you choose a house that stays out of the storm's way. I mean, holding down an area is fine. Constantly being on the move doesn't make any sense, especially towards the end of a match, but if it's near the beginning and someone is just camping inside of a house picking off people, it's just something about it that makes me a bit angry. Large fort builder. What is worse than simply staying inside of a house, however, is the type of player that builds this massive fort. The type that has most certainly made use of all of their resources on that one fortress, Making use of the materials to build a base isn't the problem here, to clarify. I mean, that'd be silly to say that. What I do mean is the type of person that builds something truly huge. Who are you trying to impress here? What happens in the situation that the storm captures the base location? You've wasted all of your materials. I know that a couple friends of mine have mentioned when they'll even see some players who are trapped in their own fort and had the storm coming onto them and were unable to escape but ended up dying inside. Now, I mean, that was a pretty extreme situation. I said a couple, I believe it was only one time. But I'm just saying that don't build up your fortunes in the sky, or your forts in the sky. Instead, keep that within your heart and inventory. Keep it modest. Picking a fight with a pickaxe. When I say this, I mean at the very beginning of the match. Sure, you may be in a situation where you're all out of ammo and that's your only thing you can use, but when I'm saying this, when everyone is just landing, looking for their first weapon, coming at someone to kill them just at the beginning of the match instead of running to a different room of the house to find your own loot is just so annoying. Most players won't have anything on them, so going for them right at the start won't amount to anything. This game is about survival, not kills themselves. Although I suppose some may play to get the kill counter up, I just don't think it's worth it to kill someone at the beginning of the match, and it just adds to the annoyance when all that killer has is a pickaxe. Chances are the person who is attacking with the pickaxe will lose health just for going after someone like that. It just doesn't seem worth it. The only real exception is if you see the person get some crazy loot right at the beginning, you catch them opening up a chest, then maybe the health loss makes sense, you've got nothing to lose, but in pretty much every other scenario, the majority of them, please go at least get a weapon and then start going after enemy players. I mean, it still does suck to get killed when you're like, I have nothing, but it's a little more respectable, I suppose, if you do it at least with a gun of some sort. Bush Wookie. Honestly, of all the types of campers, to me, this is the least offensive type. The reason I don't think it's as bad as some other types of camping is that with this type, it allows for the player to move, which I suppose kind of defeats the idea of camping, with them moving occasionally, trying to sneak up on enemies. It can still be annoying though, coming across really patient players where they're able to hide in essentially plain sight, so to say, with you running past them. Maybe you run behind some cover for a moment to use a shield and bandage up, and then boom! While you believe you are safe, a player jumps out and takes you by surprise, as they were essentially right in front of you. In response, just be wary of bushes, I suppose. Pop a shot into them if you really want to be cautious. In the end though, it still is annoying to be attacked by a bush Wookie. Camping the storm. Never get caught in the storm. It's not fun in real life, nor is it in Fortnite. As long as you are paying attention, you shouldn't have to worry too much about getting caught in the storm though. It really doesn't get too intense and small for quite some time into the game, and if you're able to survive until that point into the match, chances are you're a good player anyways. What bothers me is a player who always stands by the safe zone for nearly the entire match, waiting for a panicked player trying to run out of the storm, with all of their hopes quickly diminished by the guy just waiting for them to come by to pick them off. It's a tactic that can be especially useful to win, yes, but I mean, just early on in the match, really, a lot of these points are about earlier on in the match. It's just so annoying when you're that person getting killed in that situation. Willow Tree Sniper. I'll admit that sniping takes more skill than a lot of the weapons, solely because it's not hit scan. When you pair the weapon with someone who stays underneath the large willow tree, waiting for prey to walk by, making use of the willow tree to stay hidden very well, it's something that has always bothered me a bit as well. I was considering making the same point for the snipers that instead prefer to use mountaintops. Honestly, both are pretty equal in terms of annoyance, but I'd say that mountain snipers are not quite as bad, as it's easier to be wary of mountains. I mean, there's not as many of them, and you can see them, but of course you can't see the tops, but still it's a little easier to be kind of cautious around them. But then with the willow tree, there's just so many of them all over the map. It's just an extra burden to try to be scared to walk around them and to get sniped all of a sudden. It's like, come on, man. Can't aim. Ending off this video, I was for quite some time a major offender of this one when starting off, and maybe might be a little bit to this day. I'll cut some slack for the players who can't aim though, a little bit, but still, when you're in squads and you find yourself in a pinch, maybe you're down or you're about to go down, and then you see your teammate coming to save the day, or so you think, but oh no, that's not the case. They cannot land their shots at all. as they have their sensitivity turned up way too much, or even sometimes too low. That moment when you think you're going to be saved, it just doesn't happen. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I really am in love with Fortnite. A lot of this stuff isn't too awful, at least in my opinion, but it still can get annoying, especially with some of the cheesier tactics being constantly used. But anyways, for Viral Now, I'm Jer, wishing you to have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.